Dementis, Bay Mong Wing Chun, Bothell, Washington. Earlier, we had an interview with Master John DiVirgilio, and he shared his perception of two masters that he had the opportunity to work with while in Hong Kong several times. That was both Master Wong Chok and Master Wong Shung Leong, both of them direct students of Grandmaster Yip Man. Now I hope to, I'll ask him if he'd like to share visually, do a demo on what Wing Chun footwork looks like. Here he is. Let me get him up.
Okay.
All right. Master John, so would you like to share maybe a short demo of maybe some Wing Chun footwork, jamming, cross-stepping, intercepting? I mean, is there anything that you'd like to share?
Well, let's separate that out. Let's go through categories, broad categories of intercepting, jamming, and crossing. All right. I rather use the word crossing instead of the term trapping, because a trap is basically crossing over something, crossing your body, crossing your feet, crossing your hands, but crossing. All right. Yeah. So I have Daniel help me out here. We both got the bum knees. So, all right. So intercepting, the first thing is you have to get through your first 3 months of tying touches on ton intercepts, pop, and your thrust kicks, simple timers. But they eventually can be beat with feints, you get faked out, and the dynamics of movement, and it becomes impossible to do a true block. So you have to end up picking a side, usually an offset slant, and this is called Q. So this is a Q. Q is where we start because it brings power up and go up. Then view, both are views, but we just call this view and the other one Q. Generally speaking, you should use the Q all the time, especially if you're a big guy. However, if you're shorter, like I would say 5'6" and lower, you probably want to use more views after a while. But everyone should start at the Q. So as we're moving, you never know as the opponent's moving, as you're shuffling back and forth, he can attack with either hand, you just don't know. So I'm going to use two hands. I have two hands, he has two hands. Okay, so he's moving around, and we didn't preordain this or orchestrate, he's just doing his walking speed or everything. Okay. So as he punches off, so this is a cue. The cue is the instant of intercepting the attack. It could have been an offset covering cue. That's okay. So this is an intercept. All right, cue. View would have worked just as well. And then the follow-up techniques. Okay. So those are intercepts. Another type of intercept is, if he's too fast, you can't see his hands, you use your thrust kick, tech, intercept, and you'd be moving around, of course, and you attack the slowest moving point of his body, which is not his hands, not even his feet. It'd be his pelvic girdle. So as we're shuffling around, moving around, so pelvic girdle, then go. Use the pelvic girdle to go. And then we jam a kick too. But you want to attack the slowest, easiest target, which is the pelvic girdle. So those are jams or intercepts. And then crosses come after. Those lead up to traps. So never start an intercept thinking you're going to trap anything. Don't intercept with your bong. That's a big mistake. You do your intercept. As you're following, you can then create crosses. Okay, so I don't know. He's punching off. One. This is one. On. And look, my check hand is here. There's a second hand. There's a check cross. Nine. And I'm going to. Then I could have continued onward using a foot inversely and break, come back. Foot inversely. Toksal, pulling, toksal, crossing, toksal, jamming, pushing back. Coxall gets overpowered. He's just too strong. Even the second punch is coming. I'm getting, here it is. Right. So ideas of crossing can occur a lot. Even if my hand is up and he tapped off of my hand, okay, then I may have to change off with the, if it's abused, if it's Q. Far better than thinking you can just go ahead and bomb and quick make a quick change. Although, of course, if you cheese a lot, that's most probable. So intercepting long stuff, you're going to end up, so you kind of cross him over now, cross himself. And then from there, you use your third set sudden change. Strike. Or goes this side and walk it off, like sudden change back. So crosses are good. Checks are good. They're, you can put some footwork in there. As you jam, footwork, and I watch your bend knees. Hook and pull before you come back. We use a big tile, put 1 foot in, 1 foot in, you drag it back and forth, drag it, drag it, drag it. Footwork, how to hook your foot, pull back. So there's some basic ideas. So intercepting with a cue or view or thrust kick, 3 biggies. Eventually, you want to have your graduating student pull together their own system of intercepts. And they can still use a cue, they can use a view, or a loosely held ginger fist, not tight. And the fist in itself, like almost looking like a boxer, is the punch is the cross, see? The punch itself is both the intercept and the strike. So in one action, you have the intercept and the strike put into one count. So again, you know, covering, cutting, center, crossing. Look at this twist. And then again, you either have your jam with the gum or pull with the lock. If you can pull them off to dissolve all 4 of his limbs, the weight goes forward, can't kick, shoulder in front of the other hand, can't punch well, you have an instant to get a couple more shots in. So 1 equals 4 off a lock. Anyway, some ideas for you to sit tea over and ponder on your own practices.
You know, John, real quickly before we end here, there's a lot of Wing Chun guys out there on YouTube that are getting crushed by these other fighters. Yeah. And it seems to me that many of them are either lacking their footwork or even their hands. They're not either not able to marry the hands and the feet. I just don't, you have any thoughts on that?
My opinion on the whole matter is, you got to remember, Wing Chun in itself is a great teaching system. If you have teaching skills, not many people have knowledge, but not necessarily teaching skills. But they're all specific skills. You're supposed to pick and choose and make your own system and adapt it to what you need. And so until you make that jump to be more specific, you know, specificity of exercise. If it's more ring, it's more street, what is it? And you haven't made the bridge. You're still stuck with the building blocks and you're not playing with the big boys on the other side of the bridge. Yeah. So eventually you look at the whole system, you only pick parts to make your intercept system, rename it, of course, pick it out. So Wing Chun in itself is not a fighting system, it's a teaching system. Big difference.
Interesting. Thank you very much, John.
Good.
Yep.